bring in Jules Boykoff now. He is the author of Red Card, the 2026 World Cup, Sports Washing, and the FIFA Greed Machine. So yeah, I'm going to state it here. You wrote the book on the red card, perhaps not the one that we're discussing, but it's also steeped in politics. Infantino, Donald Trump will argue this isn't unprecedented and there was no political influence. But of course, so many disagree with that. What informs your view of this? What is your red flag, to take this analogy, that tells you political influence was involved here?
This is most assuredly a political intervention by U.S. President Donald Trump into the machinations of the 2026 World Cup. This is the political intervention that shocked the football world, except that no one is actually shocked that Trump would put himself at the center of attention. And nobody is shocked that FIFA President Gianni Infantino would go along with President Trump. He's been helping President Trump at every single step of the way, giving him that FIFA Peace Prize in 2025, attending the opening of Melania, also showing up at the FIFA, the Board of Peace meeting representing FIFA and talking about remaking Gaza. So he's been there every step of the way for Trump. This just goes to show you that the World Cup is political through and through, and anybody who tells you otherwise is not your friend.
You know, UEFA was blunt. They basically said they were in disbelief about this decision. Does it call into question so much about the World Cup itself? And I want to point to things like reffing, how games are decided, what is done for ratings. Because I have to say, before this event, despite everything that you've written and researched, beside everything that was said, what was happening on the pitches was uplifting and astonishing. You only have to see the story of Cape Verde to know, that this was a real thing the world was engaging into. Does it tarnish that now in terms of everything that's gone on?
No question about it that this World Cup has been a split screen event. On one side, incredible things happening with Cape Verde, making it as far as they did, providing so much joy in this tournament. But on the flip side, there's been so much exclusion. I mean, the referee from Somalia being excluded from the tournament just for no real apparent reason whatsoever. The exclusion of fans from around the world that had absolutely no chance of getting a visa. And now you have, like you said, UEFA questioning the very integrity of the game. They're saying it is at stake, and they are not wrong. It's sort of like when you think about politics and truth in the United States right now, where a lot of people don't believe anything is true. That same dynamic could go into the World Cup now. And that is what is the bigger risk with this tournament heading into tonight's match. I have to say one other thing. The United States has had a great run here. And even if they manage to win tonight with their star forward, Folarin Balogun, on the pitch, now, no matter what, there's going to be an asterisk attached to this win, whether they like it or not.
And I am wondering, when you thought to write this book, I mean, your book lays out how political leaders, and you point out especially Donald Trump, they leverage the World Cup, right, to kind of, whether it's stoke up nationalism or gin up their own political popularity. I mean, FIFA corruption has been endemic, you point out, and in your words, it's dripping with patronage. What happens next here? Because so much of what we as fans see on the pitches is real. The fans have really engaged across 3 countries, and yet the narrative, the facts of what's gone on with FIFA, not today, not yesterday, but for decades, seems to have hijacked the whole situation here. How to fix that?
Well, there are a lot of problems with FIFA, and I do delineate those problems in the book. But that doesn't take away from the magic that these footballers bring to the world and the community that gets built through football. And I argue that, football or soccer is a lot bigger than FIFA, and it's definitely worth fighting for. One of the ways that I think is exciting that's happening right now that anybody who's watching could do is sign your name onto this thing called rebootfifa.com. It's a new campaign put forth by a humanitarian group based in London called Fair Square. I am on their advisory board, I will say. And what we're trying to do is get as many signatures as possible on the biggest ever class action complaint against FIFA for breaking their neutrality rules in the ways that we've been talking about here today, sending this complaint to both the FIFA Ethics Committee, yes, they actually have one, and also to the European Parliament, where there's been already quite a bit of action from the European Parliament. And I expect a lot more based on what we've been talking about with Belgium. So there are things that fans can do to get involved, become more informed, and be part of the pushback against this FIFA greed machine, if you will.
Yeah, and not unheard of now that we might actually have a bit of a sideline discussion of this at the NATO summit tomorrow, where so many European leaders will be gathered with Donald Trump. Jules Boykoff, thank you so much. Really appreciate you being here.